Hello and welcome to Talking Good Gamers match preview of Stockport County against West Ham United in the FA Cup third round. The cup competition is here. Gonzo, as always, what's your thoughts on our opponent Stockport?
Well, there's a lovely viaduct up there actually, and I know nothing about Stockport in the modern age, but I have been to Stockport, which people might think, well, there's nothing special about it. It's an away ground. However, I went and watched Stockport against Burnley many years ago. So I was staying at a friend's house. There's a place up sort of near Stockport called Redditch up there. Not the same one that's in Birmingham, a different one, south of Manchester. And it's a bit of a derby, Burnley and Stockport. Bit of a derby up there. Well, I didn't realise. We were just going for the day out because the fella I was staying with, the mate, his granddad supported Stockport. So we went up there, and that day is very well remembered for me because I saw the worst footballer I've ever seen in my life, right? And his name was Joe Jacobs. He played for I think he played for Burnley actually. He didn't play for Stockport, he played for Burnley. I honestly, I've never seen anybody with such poor control of football. He can pass it, he can control the football. I think he was 16, 17 at the time, so I remember me looking at my mate. My mate was a good footballer. He was on Man City's academy at one point. It was so that was that. That's all I can tell you about Stockport, apart from they're not in the Football League anymore, and they beat Wrexham 2-0 very recently. There you go. That's what I know about Stockport.
Well, that's what your quick Google brought up, is it?
Well, not the story, but yes, the Wrexham result.
yeah, that wasn't his story, by the way. That was
Can you imagine?
That was my Tony. That was from Tony of Brighton. Thanks to Tony37 of Brighton for sending that in.
It was a great story, Tony. Yeah, absolutely. Particularly the viaducts bit, yeah.
I also know nothing. I had a little Google. They're currently sitting fourth in the National League, which is the fifth tier of English football at the minute. Their top goal scorer is Rooney. Rooney has got 7 goals. That is it. Now we're moving on. Anyway, it's the Ian Dowie derby. So before we talk about the West Ham side of it, we'll talk about the importance of the cup, because we do this every year. So those who have been with us for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you can think, here we go again. But for the new ones, you don't know yet. So Gonzo, how important is the FA Cup?
Well, the FA Cup is extremely important because we are West Ham United. We have a history of winning cup competitions, and a very old history, and we'd like some newer history of winning cup competitions. We are never going to win the league unless something crazy like an Abramovich or something happens to West Ham, which it's not. So just for once in my sorry existence, I would quite like to see West Ham have some glory. Glory is really what it's all about, because the rest of the time we are just chasing places in the Premier League or desperately trying to cling on to our status as a Premier League club. And in terms of a feeling in me heart or a warming of the cockles, I'd see very, very little difference. It makes me feel no different at all finishing 8th than I do finishing 14th. It feels the same. I enjoy the individual games along the way in the league, yes I do, but it can't match the glory of the cup. I want to win a trophy. It's really important. It's important to the prestige of the club as well. It's important, I was going to say, for a day out, or should we say a day in, as it is now in COVID terms. I desperately want the success, and I want some glory, and I want to see West Ham win a trophy, not chase 7th position and say, "Hey, we got 7th." What does that mean? Can anyone do the calculation, see if that's Europa Cup? No, I want a trophy.
Yeah, I completely agree. For me, it's not about the glory, actually. It's about the memory. It's about the memory. I think football is all about emotions, and you invest a lot of that into football. You invest a lot of time, money, so on and so forth. And I think sometimes, what are you paying your money for? And I often think you're paying the money for the journey. You're paying the money for the emotion. And in fact, it is such a passionate thing. And therefore, I think at the end of it, you want to get memories in return for your investment of everything you've put into it. And there's no better memories. You get individual games, we've all got the last game at Upton Park's first one that comes to mind, the semi-final against Ipswich in the playoffs and stuff. Those are memories that we will take with us. And when you sit down with all the men clean the pub and you speak to someone who's a younger generation and you can reel off 5 or 6 games, I want to have another game in that 5 or 6, and winning the FA Cup would be the ultimate one, the number one thing. I know this will be unpopular, I'd rather win the FA Cup than the Premier League. I would. I don't know why. I've always just, from a young boy, fallen in love with the FA Cup. The romance is still there for me. Watching Chorley today beat Derby and all the players are singing their Dell song in the changing room, I love stuff like that, and I don't necessarily want to see West Ham singing songs in the changing room after. I want memories. I want to enjoy stuff. Villa playing the kids last night. Barry getting his goal against Liverpool. That is stuff FA Cup is made of. And I want West Ham.
What Adele song were they singing?
I can't remember now, but they were singing an Adele song.
Oh, right.
And it was quite good. They sang it in the previous round when they won, and they sang it again today when they beat a COVID derby. But
so if they carry on singing Adele songs, they win the cup.
Adele wins the cup.
She does.
She won everything else. She might as well win that as well.
Yeah, she can afford a cup or two.
Yeah, she could have bought the FA Cup one off David Gold and put it in the museum to stop it going into foreign hands.
If I was Adele, which I'm not, by the way, and I could afford to buy the FA Cup, I'd be having me cup of tea in it. I wouldn't put it in a museum. I would. I'd be using it. It would be a regular utensil in the kitchen. It'd probably go in the dishwasher.
We'd have to rename the show an FA Cup of Tea. Geo Gonzo. You can have it on week 1 and send up to me to borrow one now and again.
A cup of tea just tastes, I find, Geo, a little bit better out of a prestigious trophy.
I can imagine. But Gonzo, given the situation West Ham are in, I think sometimes in past years you can almost forgive the manager to an extent, or you can not forgive him. You can understand why he would somewhat throw the FA Cup, given that our Premier League status is under pressure, and then there's pressure on him from the boardroom to make sure we retain our Premier League status in order for money. But this year, given that we are relatively safe, look like we're going to be comfortable, relegation free, does this present the opportunity for David Moyes to prioritise the FA Cup from here on in for the rest of the season?
More than he knows. Everybody wants to be popular, right? Everybody wants an appreciation. I don't mean popular in terms of famous, but everybody wants people to be appreciative of what they've done. And I don't care what job you do, you either want your boss or you want someone else to notice and say, you've done a bloody good job there. David Moyes is in a strange profession in as much as he's a football manager. So actually, part of his critique is not just his boss, it's us as fans. He would go into folklore. He would become... It would go into hero status. I'm telling you, he would be looked upon like John Lyle. It's as simple as that. It really is. I probably do damn them with faint praise, these managers. When I say these managers, people like Sam Allardyce, who seem to go into their job trying not to fail. And that's okay. As long as we don't fail, as long as we're not completely crap, we've done okay. Don't get relegated, that's fine. No. But how much pride is there in that? The CV may not have any failure on it, but also doesn't have any success. But the way David Moyes would endear himself to fans, if he won the cup and he made West Ham win the cup, would be huge. And I think we've proven, Geo, that we have a team that on our day this season can cause problems for most of the teams in the Premier League. There's no point rattling them off. Look at our results, look at our performances this season. On our day, when everyone's playing well and Mickey Antonio's firing and all that stuff, and O'Connor's at his best and Souček's heading the ball in, when we're that West Ham, we can beat anyone on our day. If we can beat anyone on our day, and if we can't get relegated, which we're probably not going to, let's go for it. Let's have a go. I think he won't, but David Moyes thinks he was thought of fondly at Everton. I would suggest he hasn't got a clue what would await him if he won the FA Cup with West Ham. Honestly, he'd go down as a Scottish Cockney. He really would, mate. I'm telling you.
Tartan Pep Guardiola.
I like it.
Massive thank you to Steve Halson. He's chucked a couple of pounds into Biscuit Fund. He said, "Cup in my lifetime isn't much to ask for." Completely agree with all that. I think he's got to go for it this year. I think he's got to do what Pardew did. If anything, he could do with giving Pardew a little tinkle and saying, "Do the West Ham fans still like you?" I like to think he might say, well, actually, a lot of them do. A lot of them remember me for going for the FA Cup. We nearly done it. But even though we lost, the fans stayed behind. They applauded the Liverpool side that won it and stuff, so on and so forth. And it's probably one of Alan Pardew's top achievements in football, if you like. I bet you it's probably one of his biggest regrets as well, that Scaloni did what he did. Kicked it down the middle of the park. But Pardew will remember that day, and if he could go back and tweak something, he would do. And I just think we're in a position now that Moyes can sacrifice league points for this. He doesn't have to do it in the next league game. But when the fourth round and the fifth round comes round, if he was to rest one or two players in the league in order to go for the FA Cup, I would praise him. Even if it meant we dropped down the table, like you said, I couldn't care we finished 16th this season or something. If we went for the Cup and went for it properly. But I think this season's unique. I mentioned on the Mugger Tea with you, I think this season is completely unique because of COVID. I think we saw the Villa team last night. Villa had to throw that essentially last night. The kids gave their all, done their club proud, they'd done their parents proud and stuff, and you see them all in the car park after with dominoes on their arm waiting to get picked up by mum and dad because they can't drive yet and stuff. But the thing is, Villa had to throw that competition. Derby today essentially had to throw the competition. There's going to be, in the next round, and the round after that, I think there's going to be fixtures that just don't get played. Teams are going to say, we can't do this, we've got too many players out with COVID, with injuries and stuff, we're just going to have to forfeit the round. I wouldn't be surprised if the winner of the FA Cup doesn't fulfil every single fixture. They get a bye in a round, and I think you've got to take advantage of that. If we prioritise it, get it right, and a little bit of luck or bad luck on the opposition's part, you might get the easiest run to the FA Cup you'll ever have, because clubs just can't. They don't have players, they don't have bodies. Now, I'm aware with West Ham, we could be one of these clubs that then have an outbreak and therefore we have to almost forfeit it. But I think you've got to go for it with anticipation that doesn't happen to us, but might happen to those that we're drawn against in the future rounds. I just think this season's perfect for us to go for it. Anyway, what team do you want to see? How serious do you want to see David Moyes? I mean, I don't think he's really got much options, to be honest with you.
No, but he... Okay, firstly, it sends out a message. He is going to have options because some of those youth players are going to be available. And it's not just the number of youth players he puts out are going to send a message. Actually, the composition of the senior players he puts out are going to send a message. So we know, and as harsh as it sounds at the moment, I'm sorry to say, we know that Darren Randolph is our second string goalkeeper. We know that Mark Noble is not a first team regular. Harsh, but true. We know that Issa Diop is the last thought of the centre halves. Now these guys need games, possibly. But it does send out a message. If you put all of those guys out and then what you're going to do is put a couple of the kids in with those, then actually it's sending a message to the squad. In his press conference, I haven't seen the press conference, apparently he turned around and he said he takes the cup seriously and of course he wants to win a trophy. Well, your words can say that, but your actions in that team sheet will only validate that if it is the case, because they won't validate it if you put that sort of team out. And it's funny, I had little ideas before doing this video, Geo, and just the day has got away from me. I was actually going to go and find our videos pre-Oxford game and pre-Wimbledon game. And just to see what the comments were and how many people were advocating making changes for those games about playing some of the players who hadn't featured and whatnot, because we got absolutely trounced. And in both of those games, we had first team players in the team in terms of senior squad players, but they weren't the guys who were the top guys at the time. There's also some context in this, Gio. We won't have played a game for 10 days. Also, we then have another 5 days. There is no fatigue. Fatigue is not a factor here at all. They're not going to be fatigued from the game before. They ain't going to be fatigued for the game after because there's enough of a gap. They've had a nice rest as well. This is all about going for the cup. And the mitigation will be that they're not even a football league team. You know, that Stockport are, whatever they are, the fifth tier or whatever you said earlier on. Well, that's fine, but as I say, that's why I wanted to go in the comments. I thought we were hearing pretty similar things about Wimbledon, albeit not the bottom tier, and Oxford. We were meant to go there and turn these teams over. There's only one way we go. Well, if you want to be sure of it, then you put out a very, very strong team.
I completely agree. In his press conference, he did say that, but then the first thing that came to mind was, well, Wigan away didn't bother. We got smacked 2-0 by Wigan, and the team resembled a side that you didn't want to go for him. I think it was his very first game in his first tenure, was it not? Arsenal away in the League Cup, and Arsenal put out a severe under-23 team, but we also put out something similar, and we ended up getting beaten that as well. And then we went on to lose the league game following it as well. I was like, well, what's the point of throwing the cup? You know, you've thrown the cup to focus on the league and lost the league match, so what's the point? I completely agree. There is one or two players I wouldn't mind seeing in there that wouldn't necessarily start in the strongest 11.
Sure.
But it's got to be strong. I don't think he's got much options. I don't think we don't have many first team players in order to rotate anyway, and there's not much youngsters on the cusp of getting into the first team. And the ones that are have been isolating and or have been injured for a while, like Connor Coventry has been injured. I wouldn't mind seeing one or two youngsters on the bench. Should we be 3 goals up or something comfortable, can bring them on.
That.
But starting 11, I want it to be near enough full strength. So with that in mind, what defence would you like to see?
Well, I think you're right. Just on that, get in the lead, then make the substitutions. I mean, just on that, I'm going to put Darren Randolph in there. I made the example that it sends a message, but there's a difference between...
Fabianski might be injured anyway.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's a difference between a competent player and somebody who's really nowhere near getting into your first team. And I don't think Randolph's that much of a step down anyway. So I'm going to write this down as I'm going. So I'm going to put Randolph on as the goalkeeper.
Dazza in the sticks.
Sorry?
Dazza in the sticks.
Absolutely. I'm going with a back 4. So I'm going to put Soufal at right back. I was actually tempted to put Harrison Ashby on there actually, but then I start doing. I'd have him on the bench. I'd like to get him on. I'd like to see him a little bit, but I'm going to put Soufal in there. I am playing Ogbonna, by the way, because he's our best defender. I don't really care who's next to him in that sense, as long as Ogbonna's in there. So I don't mind one other in there. I'm going to say Balbuena. Okay, I'm going to say Balbuena. And at left back, I'm going to play Johnson.
Okay, well, I've gone with Fredericks, and then I put Diop and Craig Dawson in there because of the leadership. I think Ogbonna is a leader in the back 4 sometimes, but also Dawson's obviously showing that as well. So I'm taking Ogbonna out to rest him because I think him and Rice and Souček are only 3 that's had absolutely 0 rest so far. So I think I'd rest him, and therefore put Dawson in alongside Diop, and then I would play Ben Johnson left back as well. What about Alves?
So you've got a whole new back 4.
No, Craig Dawson started.
Oh yeah, but
Ben Johnson, I would argue, should have started, and Fredericks played a couple of games ago.
Okay, but you've got 3 players from the last game. Is my point there? Yeah, I mean, I still think you're not taking it as seriously as I'd like. I don't think I believe what you said earlier about the making of the memories and stuff.
Well, just wait till you see the rest of my team. What about Alves? So signed last week, centre back, but today he's been given the number 14 shirt. Do you read anything into that, or is that something just a shirt number? Or is that quite a...
Maybe he liked Thierry Henry when he was a youngster. I don't know. No, I'm not reading anything into that. You can't start this. This is not right.
I'm not saying would you start him. I'm just saying
no. And let's be fair. Even if we put a sort of reserve and some young team, that we should beat this team. But I don't want should. I want will. Let's go and sort it out and let's get it done, right? So no, I'm not reading anything into that. You're going to want the midfield. The midfield, I'm doing something a little bit different here because I am actually going to give somebody a rest in this one. When I say a rest, he's going to be on the bench.
So am I.
Oh, cheeky. Okay, right. So I'm playing Declan Rice, and I'm playing Fornals in the middle, which, as you can tell, I'm giving Souček a rest for this one, but he's on the bench, right?
I was going to go Noble and Souček in there and give Rice the rest. I think I don't have concerns about Souček. I don't have concerns about him at all, to be honest with you. I think Rice has shown times in the past that when he plays a lot of games, mainly on England duty, he can suffer. Whereas Souček, I've not really seen much to suggest that he suffers at all from it. So
No.
I would play Noble and Souček in there. And to be honest with you, I completely forgot about Fornals. I might play Fornals and Souček actually. When I wrote down
you can do what you want, mate. You do what you want. You're your own manager at this point.
I'm gonna do Fornals and Souček in there. I forgot about Fornals, to be honest with you.
A similar thing, and Rice. I agree with Rice about number of games together. This isn't that point. No, we haven't had many games at all.
But I think it's also a reward. I think it's a significant thing. If you're a first team player, and the manager says to you, someone like Rice who's broken into the first team, established himself, and you're basically saying to Rice, you're now one, or if my lineup would say to Rice, you're now one of the 2 most important players at this football club. You're not Bonner, and my 2 most important footballers. I'm going to put you on the bench and hopefully have the night off. But should things go tits up, you're getting on.
Yeah.
But anyway,
absolutely.
The next 3.
Okay. So I'm going to go with the 3, and I'm going with the 3.
By the way, wait. I think we're going to have the same 3 here.
Well, we should do. I'm going with Bowen, Lanzini, and Ben Rama.
Yeah, same 3 as me.
I mean, it's I mean, that's a good midfield. Rice, Fornells, Bowen, Lanzini,
Do you know? Do you know
Benrahma.
why I would put Lanzini in?
Um,
Because of his cock up over Christmas. It's not necessarily a punishment. It's like there's a lot of pressure on him now because he's gone and broke the COVID rules. Now he's been punished, he's been disciplined by the club. He's come out and said he's making a donation to the food bank and stuff, right? But there's just something about this. I would say to him, look, you need to score here. Those West Ham fans, you've annoyed a lot of them for non-footballing reasons, right? But if you go on and score, you play well today, get a goal. A lot of them might just forget what you've done over the Christmas period and stuff because a lot of our fans. Some people will know someone or they've maybe even lost an immediate family member due to COVID, and you've just gone and broke strict COVID regulations over Christmas when a lot of people couldn't go see their family, played by the rules, and there you are posing with Lo Celso, Lamela and Regulion. Merry Christmas, we're having a good time. So I think he's, for this game, I think I'd put him in. But that front three, I've got goals, they've got creativity, and to be honest with you, they should be walking past the Stockport defence.
Oh, and I think they will. And honestly, I do think they will. A striker, I'm a little bit undecided on this one, actually. I can't... I'm half tempted to put the lad in.
I have.
What's his name?
Mipo Odebeko.
That's the one. I knew it. I'll do Becco.
Just put Mipo, it's easier.
Bex. Odebeko. It's got to be Bex, isn't it? It's got to be Bex. I think I am. Well, and then that's leaving me with... Well, with a few, it's leaving me with Souček and Antonio in particular on the bench, just in case. Sorry,
Yarmolenko.
And Yarmolenko, just in case things get a little bit fruity. But I would hope that actually, particularly with that three behind the striker, that we get into a lead and we do it quite nicely, and then actually we don't need to bring any of those guys on. Actually, it's Soufal coming off and Harrison Ashby coming on, maybe Baptiste or Elise or something like that. There's some other stuff happening and we can take some of these guys off. I would actually put Yarmolenko on and bring him on as a sub because to get him some more minutes. Do you know what I mean? If that was the case, and then we actually you end up with a team that has got Johnson in it, and that has got Balbuena in there and getting some time, and you know what, you get the opportunity to bring some, whatever, you end up with three youngsters on the pitch or something like that, which I think is fine. I think we do it our way. Geo, your team is not totally, you're in the same ethos, so the odd different player here or there. I think you do it our way, you get through to the next round. You're in the hat for the draw. I think it's as simple as that.
Do you get 5 subs? I can't remember.
Good question.
I can't remember.
That would be nice. If they have done that, that's the sensible thing.
I can't remember. I know you get like an extra sub at least in extra time because this round's played to finish now. There's no replays now in the FA Cup. It gets played to finish. There's extra time in pen. Should it be?
You'd know Liverpool would have been making a load of subs, wouldn't
they? I'll just double check then. Maybe there isn't.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean Liverpool would 4-1 or something like that. They would have started making subs as soon as they were comfortable because they obviously weren't expecting.
Liverpool made 5 subs. Yeah, there's 5 substitutions. So
brilliant.
I think that helps us as well. So we can bring on the big boys or we can bring on the younger lads, whatever way it's going and stuff. I would play Odebeko because, like I said, I've never been a big one for buying into the youngsters. I like to think if you've tuned into this over the years, there's very little youngsters I rave over at the club because when I watch them, I think, oh, right, you've looked good there and then, but let's see, like Tony Martinez, and I looked at him, well, you look all right, but you look all right, that's all. At least when I've heard about him and seen clips of him, I think he looks really good. But I think with Mipo, I think he's just, I can't get over that goal he scored against Southend. That goal he scored is, I've watched it 101 times, I think. Every time I see it on Twitter or whatever, I will watch it. And it just keeps repeating. I just keep watching. I think, how's the guy scored? He's passed it into the net with power from 30 yards out. How's he done that? And that technique's something that you see a lot of youngsters scoring goals and stuff, but they don't all score with that kind of technique about it. And there was just something about that. And I think the significant thing to remember is we stole him from Man United. Man United didn't release him. Man United wanted to keep him, and we managed to persuade him to come to West Ham. And I think you've almost got to, at some point, I know he's had an injury, so he's not 100% fit. He's only just come back to training and stuff. But if he is ready to go, I would put him in. I think you've got to give him a chance. There's an opportunity there right now. Listen, we've got all the intentions in the world of buying a striker, but you don't have to tell him that. You can put your arm around him and say, look lad, we need a striker at the minute. Antonio's still not 100% fit. you score, you're on the bench for the next game. We've got 9 subs now. You're
right.
Even if we do buy a striker before they burn the game, you're still on the bench along with the other striker. There's a lot for a striker at the club to go and grab. But to do that, they've got to be given an opportunity. And I think sometimes a striker's the hardest one to do. If you come on with 10 minutes to go, unless you score, you're not really going to impress the manager. And you've only got 10 minutes, and if you're on the pitch, chances are you're either struggling for a goal or you're 3-0 up, and therefore you're playing at a very low tempo. So, like Louis Barry last night, he started against Liverpool. From the start, he was buzzing, running around. He got his chance and he took it. I bet you something. I tell you what, I bet you Dean Smith's got him in the first team training next week. If the next Premier League game comes around, he'll be on the bench. He'll be ready to go. He's probably now their third choice and stuff. So you've got to get him on, got to give him an opportunity. Anyway, feeling confident?
Yeah, if it's done like this, yeah. I mean, but we have sat here too many times discussing this. As I say, I would love to have. I know what we were saying before Wimbledon. I know what we were saying before Oxford in the build-ups and in the videos to that game. But I'd love to see him again just to see what everybody else is really feeling about that, because I think too many people just think you can turn up and in the main you can, but sometimes you just turn up for these games, don't take them seriously, and you get turned over, and that's what happened. And I've seen it happen too many times. The Wimbledon one, I became a meme. Do you know what I mean? I've
still got that GIF on my phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might bring it out.
Do you bring it out? Well, hopefully we're not using it. Hopefully you don't bring it out. No one sees me shaking my head. So I'm confident if they do what I want them to do, what you want them to do. I'm less confident. Do you know what? We'd probably win anyway. We probably would. But I just want to take the probably out of it, Gio. I want to put the certainty back in there, basically.
I think I'd give Mark Noble the team talk for this game, because this is Mark Noble. As it stands, this is his last year at West Ham. He wants to lift the trophy at the end of the year, if he gets home for about a minute. But if he wants to lift it at the end of the year, he wants to go out with a medal for winning a cup that's not the Betway Cup, then this is possibly the last chance to do it. And he stands a half a chance of leading the team out at Wembley at the minute with the captain's armband on. Next year, there's no chance. He might be in the squad, but he'd be lucky to be on the bench next year. So this is his last opportunity. I do wonder how it's going to work with no fans there. This is normally a banana slip because of the home fans.
Yeah.
Is Stockport motivated for this because they've got no gate receipts coming in? Normally with the draw of the Premier League club, you should get the gate receipts. You can add an extra £5 onto tickets, full house. Yeah, they've still got the TV money and that, but is it such a big pool for the lower division clubs as it was with the fans there? Probably not. But some of these players will be buzzing right now. If you're a 19, 20-year-old at Stockport, you're thinking, this is it. If I can turn up, put on a really good display, a League 1, League 2 side might be looking at me from next season and stuff. But I'm quite confident with the disclaimer that we put A, a strong team out, and B, we turn up with the right attitude. Because we turn up with the wrong one, we will be embarrassed once more. Turn up with the right one, this should be an easy victory for us, really. Before I get
just on that, sorry, Gio, just before you go on to say what you're going to say, I do hope that Moyes was stung by the Everton backlash, us included, and what the fans gave, you know what I mean? Because that was disgusting, actually, in the League Cup against Everton, and it was probably the last time I've said anything really bad and negative about that management coaching setup, and I've been largely positive about them. I'm very, very supportive of them, but that was disgusting what they did that day, and I hope that they have been stung by that, and I hope the reaction from the fans left them in no uncertain terms, left them in the knowledge that actually you can't do that. You cannot do that here. We will not accept that sort of thing. Apart from that, we'll back you 100%. Well, not everyone backs you 100%. You know what I mean? We'll back you. We'll back you, and we're behind you. But you ain't getting away with that. And by the way, I think that's really sad that they don't get any money. Stockport. I mean, that's really.
Well, they get the money from BT. They get their TV fee, but it's not quite the same, and they miss out on the magic of the fans there as well, making a racket and stuff.
It's a shame.
Before I get Gonzo score predictions, we will be live. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff, so we'll be live just before 7. But the build-up show will have the FA Cup draw in it. The FA Cup 4th round and 5th round draw is done around about 10, 7:15 on Monday evening. So we will know going into this who we have in the next 2 rounds should we win them. So tune in just before 7 p.m. on Monday night. What were you say?
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, good. Yeah, nice.
Adds a little incentive. You've got Man City away, you might think, oh, bugger. Lads, let's just not too fast for this now. If you're anyone not feeling up to it all of a sudden, can I get your score prediction, please?
Yeah. Based on the provisos we've already established, I will go West Ham 4, Stockport 0.
I'm going to go Stockport 0, West Ham 3. If you enjoyed this preview, please drop a like on it, put your thumbs up on the video below. Have to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo will be live at 6:55 on Monday evening right here. We'll have our build-up show, then we'll have a live watch-along followed by a review. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you on Monday night. Gonzo, catch you soon.
See you later.